Good afternoon. How is everyone? Great. Welcome to the pre-CLC training for our chapter finance directors. We're going to go over just a little bit of information to help prepare you for CLC. If you have any questions, you may type them in and I'll go through questions as they're received. All right. We're going to start off with the agenda. We're going to go over responsibilities, contracts, dues and allocations, budgets, and reporting. First thing on the responsibility. As being a finance director, you want to know what's going on within the chapter at all times. You want to act reasonable, read all reports, and ask questions. We definitely have to ask questions from the reports in case there's something that doesn't look right. We don't want it to go forth and be wrong in the end. Duty of care and duty of loyalty. What that is we want you all to treat ASID as if it was your own personal business. You want to make sure that ASID comes first. Each board meeting should include a financial report, or at each month, a report should be sent to the board. This is to keep everyone abreast of what's going on within the chapter, to make sure that you are operating properly, that you all aren't going into the red and everything is okay within the chapters. Use the chapter procedures and guidelines to document any processes, and read all policies and bylaws. Our bylaws and our policies are based upon the national policies and bylaws. All chapters follow the exact same policies and bylaws, which if you do not have them or haven't obtained them yet, they can definitely be found on our website. All right. Why a contract? Risk management. Every transaction exposes the chapter to liability. So we want to make sure that we have a contract that is set forth for the chapter that is going to look out for the chapter as opposed to looking out for the individual in which we're doing business with. Outline the rights and responsibilities of the parties. We want to clearly define the expectations within the contracts to help reduce the risk of litigation. Just having a contract is not enough. Contracts that are not prepared by the chapter are drafted to protect the best interests of the other party. So if we're going to be doing business with ABC Company, if ABC Company writes up this contract, they're going to make sure that they're covered 100% in the event something happens during an event. So we have to make sure that we have our own contract that is set forth that is going to look out for the best interest of ASID, the chapters, and our individuals that are representing. Make sure that the chapter is protected. Ultimately, that's what that's saying. Whenever the chapters are going to be doing an event, they have to submit contracts for review. They should be submitted to our legal counsel, both on the local and the national level, to finance to review for good business terms, and then to the insurance company to ensure ASID, the chapter, and you are covered. So any contract that we do has to be submitted to all three here in order to move forth with the contract. All right, we're moving into our dues. The dues revenue accounts for over 90% of ASID's budget. In saying that, this means that all of the monies that we receive from our members, that's how we here at headquarters operate. Dues are set by the board, by board policy. The board comes together and decides what the dues amount will be from year to year. Dues does conduct ASID conducts an analysis of the dues, which means we go through and we do benchmarking and cost to serve each member. Our benchmarking goes across the industry in which we're in based upon the organization, the size, their membership. So we go through and we benchmark to make sure that we are equally competitive with our other competitors. And in actuality, ASID has the lowest dues within the industry. Our dues come from our professional, allied, and associates, which they all pay the same amount of dues. And to also include on our IP level, our local IPs. All of these members pay the same amount of dues, which are currently around $450 to $465 per year. ASID offers dues to our educators, our allied former students, year 1 through 5, our retired members, NCIDQ waivers for people who have passed the NCIDQ, and for our inactive members. Currently, ASID has the Share the Love campaign, which means that members can receive vouchers for helping to bring in new members into the society. The chapters can also run programs, but only with national approval, and the chapters can never pay for board members' dues. Now, in Share the Love, if you have people that you know would love to be a part of the organization, you can definitely bring them in. You could refer them. And once you refer them, you receive a $50 voucher that you could use towards your dues. Also, in running a program through the chapter, we would love for our chapters to run programs as well. And with them having to bring it through national for approval, this is to make sure that it's up to the legal standards for dues. We want to make sure that we are having the programs that's definitely going to be for the dues and that it does not hinder any other part of the society. And ASID, the national level, we'll go through, we'll approve, but we also would like to see what you all are doing, because if it's a program that is really good that we believe that could benefit all of our chapters, we would love to share the information with everyone. Dues also come from our industry partners, which is our corporate membership. Our corporate memberships are on the national level, the regional level, and the local level. Local being the bottom and national being the top. These are our members that provide to these are the businesses that provide for our members. There's also another part of our dues, which is the legislative assessment. The legislative assessment was put in place for 2013 and 14. This is the time period in which it has left. We've been doing the legislative assessment for roughly about 2 years or so now. And per our strategic plan, it's in place for 2013 and 2014 going forth. The legislative assessment is $15, which is the members' $2.50 of that money per member is going towards our chapter for what we would like to see our chapter send their board members in for leadership training. The allocation part of the dues. The professional, allied, associate, and IP dues are all allocated out back to the chapters at 27.5%. This is based upon the number of members that have paid their dues within each quarter. 27.5% will go back to the chapter for paid members per quarter, and IPs are done based on the average number of reps. So, in this sense, if in the first quarter of the year, a particular chapter has had 200 people that have paid their dues, then they will get paid based on the percentage of 27.5% of that the number of members that have paid, the 200 members. Okay. We will deduct the insurance from the allocations because allocations go out to our chapters 4 times a year, which are the 4 quarters of the year. We deduct the insurance from the chapters in the second quarter of each year. We also deduct for any advancements or loans. Yes, chapters can get advancements or loans. It's a process that you have to go through, sending in the information to your CST. They go through and they look over it, make their recommendations, send the information into Finance and Administration. We go through and review it, talk to the CST, and then make a decision based on everything that we've received, whether we're going to issue out the loan. Loans are also issued out. When they're issued out, they're issued and they bear interest as well. And also, with our chapter allocations, our chapter should be on direct deposit. If your chapter is not on direct deposit, please call, email, and sign up. This is a quicker, faster way for each chapter to receive their monies, because once we have cut the allocation, if they're cut today, or today is Wednesday, then you all will have it in your bank account on Thursday. So it's a whole lot easier than waiting for the check to get cut, and then that way you will have access to your funds quicker. Okay, moving on to the budgets. You must have a budget. This authorizes the chapter to spend the money. The budget should be done after your strategic planning process. And the reason that the budget is done after your strategic planning process is because you all have to strategically plan what you're going to spend the money on. So once you make that decision of how you're going to spend the money, then you can go through and make your budget, as opposed to doing it vice versa and making your budget and not knowing how you're going to spend the money. Okay. %50 of the chapter's budget should be from dues, which you can see the chapter's income is only 50% of dues, whereas national headquarters is based on 90%. Charge for any services that you all do. Everything is not considered a member benefit, and some things members should pay for separately. Budget for each project. and review the budget at each board meeting. You all want to make sure that you're definitely staying on task with your budget so you're not going over in any particular area. Budget is not just for fun. This is definitely something that we have to do because without a budget, each chapter could fall. Reporting. To get your allocations, there are quarterly reports that must be filed to headquarters each quarter. Each quarter, your report should include your balance sheet for that particular period, your income statement for the period, your bank statement and rec for the period, and any notes you would like to include. Your bank statement could be your first page of your bank statement, which includes your month end, your account information, and the balances. And then in your quarterly allocations, your first quarterly allocation, you also have to send in your strategic plan and your budget along with your other information, your balance sheet, your rec, your bank statement. And this is because we want to make sure that each chapter has done the strategic plan and the budget in order to be able to carry them through for the upcoming year. Also in the second quarter, along with the other information that has to be sent in, a copy of your 990, your completed 990 that your accountant has filled out and which you all have sent to the IRS. And the purpose for having a copy of the 990 is because we want to ensure that each chapter is submitting their information to the IRS in a timely fashion. We don't want anyone to have to pay any additional fees to the IRS for not sending in your information on time. Are there any questions? This is just a brief overview of what you all will see come COC in June. You all will get a wide variety of information. Sarah will be on hand. We will go into contracts in depth as to what needs to be included, how it needs to be worded, so that we protect each individual as well as the chapter and national. Also, you all will receive some additional information at the winter symposium. So we want to make sure that everybody is going to be well knowledgeable of everything that is needed to help you run the chapter for the upcoming year. If there's no questions, we've concluded the presentation.